What's up, YouTube? On this episode of Coddiwomple Overland, we're going to be talking about 3 different diesel heaters, and are they really any difference in them?
We don't need a destination, let's go where the river's taking us.
Over the last little bit, we've had 3 different companies reach out to us and want us to test and review their diesel heaters. And one thing that I found out with all of these is they're all pretty much the same thing. And I want to share with you just how much they are the same and whether I think that they're worth really even having. First heater we got was the Vevor, and this is an 8 kilowatt, and it's the one that we've actually used the most, and we've used it quite a bit. All of these models look a little bit different, but I can tell you they're all pretty much one and the same. 2 of the 3 have exact same part numbers. So the 3 models that we have here are the Vevor, the Silvel, and I'm not sure even how to pronounce the green one, but we'll call it the green one. The Vevor, here's the part number for Vevor, and if we come over to the green one, the part number is exactly the same. 2 of the 3 have the exact same labels on them, and 2 of the 3, even except for the name on the front of the instruction manual, is the exact same manuals page for page. From here we're going to take a look at the instruction manuals. This is for the Silvel, and you'll notice that it's got their brand name here on it, and down here it has silverbrand@outlook.com. Well, guess what? The manual for the green one is exactly the same thing. So through the shuffle of a few things, I have misplaced the manual for the Vevor, but I can tell you that it looked very similar to the other 2, if not identical. The displays on 2 of the 3 models are identical except for the color. You'll notice the one on the green one and the one on this one here just have different colors, but the buttons are exactly the same. When you turn them on, they look exactly the same as well. The only one that's different here is the Vevor, and it does have a little bit of a different display. Now, they do say that these are removable. You can see the cords. I reached out to Vevor. They did say that their remote or their display is removable, but it only has a 30 centimeter cord on it, which isn't very long. Now, I haven't been able to get this one off for fear of breaking it, but the ones on these other units, they do pop off pretty easy, but that's all you've got. So one of the problems that I see with that is you can set this thermostatically if this was inside where you could put it. So if this were set up in a van or something like that, you could put that out of the cabinet and be able to see that display. The problem we have as Overlanders is our tent most of the time is up above us. So we want a little bit more reach for that. So one trick that you may be able to do, or one modification, is it has 3, looks like 18 gauge wires to it. You could probably tap into those and extend those, but that's a little bit too short for what we're looking for. They all do come with remotes, and you don't have to thermostatically set these. You can set them from 1 to 10. These other 2 units here actually set in hertz, so I think it's 1.4 to 5.7 hertz or something like that, that you can increase your rate or your rate of heat on these rather than just doing it by thermostat. They all 3 do come with a remote control of one type or another. All 3 of them do have remotes, and all 3 of them are different. All 3 of them are Bluetooth capable. However, I have yet to be able to get one of these to connect to an app. When you fire these units up and are going to be heating the inside of your tent, they do have a little bit of a noise. It's a ticking noise, and that's the pump running, but it's not overwhelming. It's not something that's absurd or is going to keep you awake at night. Both of these units came with exactly the same packaging, the colors and everything. And the Vevor, while it came with the same type of packaging, the only thing that was different was the exhaust hose and the intake hose, and it was just a different color. So what all does that come with? It comes with a heat deflector or an air deflector where you can put your air in different directions. It does come with this exhaust hose here, and this is supposed to connect in here, this is supposed to connect in, and it connects into any of the three, just like so. The problem is this hose is so short that the heat that comes out of these things is a little over 400 degrees. So that little distance right there, the first night that we used this, we had it sitting up on top of the rack on the Gladiator and just had this short tube running in to the rooftop tent. We could not stand it. It was so hot, it would burn you. So, well, why don't you say, well, why don't you just extend this? It really doesn't extend that far. That's about all you can get out of it. So if you're going to use one of these, you definitely need to get a longer hose, a dryer hose or something like that. So when you do get a dryer hose, if you get the standard 3-inch that fits on this, the problem you have is if it's longer than this, then you can't run this over about a level 3 out of 10 levels, because it will give you an overheating error. So how do you fix that? The way that you fix that is you buy an adapter from a 3-inch to a 4-inch, and then this will go into here, and then you have a 4-inch hose. Well, by the time you hook that up, clamp this up, then you can run this into your tent, and you can run it on level 10 or as hot as you want to run it without any problems of them overheating. All of these units come with the same exact type of exhaust pipe and muffler. So they say that this muffler really helps on that, keeping that ticking noise down. I haven't found it to be absurd one way or the other. Some of the other things that it comes with is it comes with clamps and hold downs for the pipes, and it also comes with an air filter for the intake. When you're talking about the intake, this is what it has for an intake tube, and all of those connect right onto the bottom here. And I'll show you. Here's how they actually are set up. You have the intake here, and then the fuel line is right next to the intake. That's kind of the way you know that that's the intake. The other way is the exhaust will not fit on the intake side. Now this is the exhaust, and it just connects in here and wraps out. Let's talk about how you get power into these units, because they do have to have a power source in order to run the fuel pump and the blower. The Vevor just has a cord that comes out, and you can see there that, you know, it's just stuck into the inside. Now there's a problem with that. The connection was not very good at all. I happened to be walking by it in the dark and tripped over the cord, and when I did, rather than the cord just kind of coming with me or popping out of the power station, I actually pulled it loose from inside here. So I'll show you here where I actually had to tear this apart while we were at camp and rewire it and put it back together. Luckily we were able to do that and still have some heat. So last night in the dark, I tripped over the cord going to the diesel heater, and it normally lives in here and goes into these two connections. Well, I don't have the tool that I need to be able to pop those little connectors out of this connection. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to bypass this connector. I've already cut the ends off the wires here, and then I'm just going to connect these two, and that way we've got it fixed. It got a little chilly last night. It was about 25 degrees, and we definitely need this heater to keep us warm tonight. And just like that, our bypass connection is made, and we're back to heating. I do like the design of the Silvel and the green one here a little bit better, and the reason I like it is because they actually have the lugs here where you can change, replace, or alter however you want to the power that the way you're going to get your power. What they send you is this cord right here, and it's got a black and a red that obviously goes to the black and the red here, and then at the end of it, it's just blank, so you can put whatever you want to on it. And that's what we had to do with the Vevor too, but it just came with a blank cord at the end, and I ended up adding a cigarette lighter to be able to use this one. We done a little bit of work on this one here because I want to be able to use a cigarette lighter on one if we use a power station. But the way I set this one up was I can alligator clip it straight onto my onboard lithium iron phosphate battery, and that way I'm running straight off of it and I don't have to worry about a power station. All right, now I've talked about all of these, and I guess I've talked about several negative things. Let me talk about the positives. When you plug these things in and you start running heat into your tent, it is the warmest, driest heat that you will ever find while you're camping. It's not like a propane, it's not that moist heat, you don't end up with any condensation. This is 100% completely dry heat. It's not any open flames in or around your camp. A whole lot safer than what the propane is, and it's a whole lot more efficient than even a 12 volt heated blanket or anything like that. These things are definitely, for the price point, for the $150 to $200 that they are, you can't go wrong with them. My only regret is not buying one of these 2 years ago when I started using a little buddy heater in our annex. When I talked about the other heaters, I was talking about a propane like a little buddy heater. Propex does make a heater just like this that is propane powered, and it is a very good unit as well. Another question that I kind of asked was, well, how much fuel consumption are these going to take? And because I'm having to carry a different type of fuel, is it really going to be worth it? Well, we have used these on several trips now, and I can tell you that we normally set it between 2 and 4 on the setting rating, and I can get at least 2 nights out of a full tank, and that's getting 12 to 16 hours total out of a full tank. So by the time you fill up a 1.3 gallon tank, it's not costing you but around $4 or so a night to heat. Now, if you look at a little buddy heater and you hook it up to a 20-pound tank, a 20-pound tank is going to cost you about $30 to fill up, and you might get 4. If you're lucky, you're going to get 5 nights out of it. So at the end of the day, the diesel is still cheaper than what the propane would cost you. Now, diesel is a little harder to carry, I understand that, but what we've done is we actually have a tank right here. I didn't have a yellow one like I should have, but I marked plainly on this one, and this is our diesel heater fuel. So by what we have in it and what we carry there, I can get about 8 nights out of the fuel that I carry between one of these plus the extra tank. As of today, the price on this one is $145 on Amazon. This one's $139 on Amazon, and this one is on sale right now for $119. So they're all in that $120 to $150 range, and I don't think you can go wrong with any of them.